right, so welcome to the Lunch and Learn with QWF. Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Nous sommes ravis de vous souhaiter la bienvenue ici en ligne. Je vais continuer en anglais. Hi everyone, I'm Riley Palanca. I'm the Membership Services Coordinator at the Quebec Writers Federation. As we begin, we give thanks and we remember. We give thanks for the land we live on and the waters that surround us. And we remember that Tiohtià:ke, Montreal, the land upon which QWF has made its home, has been a gathering place for millennia and still remains the unceded territory of the Kanien'kehá:ka, Mohawk people, and other First Nations. We recognize the stories and ongoing oral practices of the indigenous peoples of these lands, which inform our work as writers and literary artists. We remember that we, First Nations, Métis, Inuit, settlers, immigrants, and people brought here against their will, live in this country together. We must never forget our experiences and roles, and those of our ancestors in colonization and subsequent injustices, and must strive to live alongside one another in peace, mutual respect, and as allies to steward the lands and waters that sustain us. We must walk gently and respectfully on these lands and commit to investing QWF resources and efforts towards this goal in friendship, esteem, and the pursuit of justice and equality. So, some housekeeping. First, this meeting is being recorded and it will be uploaded on QWF's YouTube channel afterwards. Please keep yourself muted unless you have been given the floor to talk. There will be a question and answer session at the end. You can put any questions you have in the chat, but we may not be able to answer them until the very end. Rest assured, any questions raised today will be answered during this session. So, this Lunch and Learn with QWF, this is a quarterly series where the staff present our various programs and services to new or aspiring members, or even to longtime members who would just like to get to know the various things that we do. The presentation part of this session is divided into 3 sections. I will talk about the opportunities, programs, and activities QWF delivers that might be of interest to aspiring or emerging writers. Afterwards, Laurie Schubert, the Executive Director, will talk about the opportunities for established or mid-career writers. Then John Wickham, the Communications Officer, will go over our websites. And finally, as promised, we'll end with a Q&A session. Allons-y. So who are we? The Quebec Writers Federation, QWF. We're an art service organization that provides English language programs, service, opportunities, and community for aspiring, emerging, and established writers and the wider community. So one of the biggest activities we hold, of which we are best known, are our workshops. We hold workshops during the spring and the fall. The spring workshops are actually wrapping up right now. They usually take place in the evenings, the majority of which have 8 sessions that meet weekly, though that can vary. And we also have 1 or 2 day intensive workshops that usually take place during the weekend. I also want to mention that most of our workshops happen in person at our office, but for the majority of those, we hold 1 or 2 virtual spots for people who want to attend but are unable to physically come to the office for reasons of disability or distance. We also sometimes have workshops that are purely online. So I like to discuss workshops in 2 parts. First, as you can see from my screen, with these examples, we have craft workshops. So these are workshops where one can learn about the craft of writing, specifically with certain genres: poetry, nonfiction, short story, playwriting, etc. We've had some interesting ones over the past few years, like how to write about trauma without being annoying, how to write weird fiction. And all of these workshops are led by an accomplished professional writer, and participants can expect to develop their writing through feedback and exercises. So the ones I have on screen right now are the workshops that are wrapping up for this spring. And in addition to our craft-based workshops, the other type is the professional development workshop. QWF is committed to supporting writers in all stages of their careers, and that means understanding the life cycle of a writer. We have workshops on grant writing, podcasting, creating a website, publishing. We even had a masterclass on how to handle rejection a couple of years ago. And so if you're interested in learning more about workshops and in joining one, the fall workshops will be announced sometime in August. So complementary to our workshop series is our Lunch and Learn series. You are attending one right now. This one with QWF, we do every 3 months, and in between those those sessions, we invite other organizations or speakers to deliver presentations, either to speak on a hot topic that is of interest to members, such as how to get started with video game writing or how to work with a literary agent, or to introduce an arts-based organization to our members. So recently, we've had ELAM, Pro Poetry Collective, the Canada Council for the Arts, Fringe Montreal, and Turret House Press. The next one, it's not on our calendar yet, but we're very happy to announce it, is going to be with the Montreal Review of Books. It's going to be in 2 weeks, May 13th, so keep an eye out for registration for that. So that one is, for those of you who already have published books, how do you get your books reviewed by the MRB? Or if you're interested in doing book reviews, how do you get started on doing that? So moving on from workshops and lunch and learns, another opportunity for emerging writers is to get direct guidance from a professional writer through our mentorship program. So every year, QWF pairs 7 or 8 emerging writers with an established one, and they work together for a 4-month period, usually to develop a manuscript. In partnership with the Literary Translators of Quebec, we have one additional membership for translators that alternates between English to French and French to English every year. Each pairing is bespoke and catered toward the needs of the mentee. The QWF mentorship program has a proven track record of success, with many mentees achieving significant milestones in their literary careers. Several mentees have gone on to publish their first book, marking a significant step towards establishing themselves as published writers. So this is our cohort for 2025. The call for 2026 will open in the fall, so keep an eye out for that. I do want to note that getting a mentor through this program is competitive. If you submit, what happens is that an independent jury will shortlist the top candidates, and the mentors will then select which among the pool they believe they can best mentor throughout the program. And it culminates in a public reading in June. This year it will be on June 1st. So opportunities for publication with QWF. We are not a publishing house. Some people ask us about that. But we do have an online literary journal called Carte Blanche. They have an independent editorial team. So the staff here, we don't have a say in what they publish. But they do publish 3 issues every year. They accept a wide range of genres, from short fiction, poetry, essays, translations, and even photographs. And all accepted entries are paid. Sadly, submissions just closed for issue 51, which will be coming up. The issue 51 will be coming out soon. But if you're interested in what they do, issue 50 is currently up on their website. It's carteblanchemagazine.com. And there's another opportunity for publication with us. It's called Quizlet. Now, this one is for youth. I sadly do not have a slide for it. I will next time. So if you are a youth, you're below the age of 22, I believe 17 to 22. Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Submissions are currently open for that. Or if you know someone who fits within that age range.
Sorry, I am going to correct you, Riley. It's 14 to 21.
14 to 21. Thank you so much. Yes, and submissions are open, right, John? Or for issue 2?
No, submissions are
closed.
closed.
Apologies.
But issue 2 will be coming out in May, so you can keep your eyes out for that for some reading material.
Thank you. All right. So scholarships. So I want to pivot a little bit. A lot of the programs I mentioned do come with a cost, i.e. there is a cost to register for a workshop or to apply for a mentorship. However, we do have scholarships that waive these costs. For example, every season we offer 4 needs-based workshop scholarships. So if there is a workshop you really want to take but you can't afford it, you just have to write to us to see if a spot is available in this workshop, and we can let you take that workshop for free, basically. In addition to this, we offer 4 more scholarships as part of the Fresh Pages initiative. This initiative is in response to the underrepresentation of BIPOC individuals in the literary scene. So in total, that represents 8 workshop scholarships per season. For the mentorship program, we also have the Mayroot Sarsfield mentorship. For the regular mentorship, there is a $30 application fee. However, application to the Mayroot Sarsfield mentorship is free, and there is a specific genre we focus on every year, i.e. for this year, it is in spoken word. If you would like to learn how to curate your own live literary show, you can take part in the guest curatorship at the Words and Music Show. You would be mentored by an established professional artist. This year it's Kim Dominic Ferguson, and you'll be responsible for putting on one iteration of this literary cabaret. So the call for the guest curator is over, and we'll be announcing the winner soon. And finally, one can learn the ropes of being an editor for a literary journal by taking part in the editorial mentorship at Carte Blanche. This year, we looked for someone who wants to learn photojournalism editing, and the call also just closed. And sadly, a lot of things have either just closed or will be opening quite later this year. But like, keep an eye out for the winner of that mentorship. To close, I want to reiterate that the Fresh Pages initiative is specifically for BIPOC individuals, and we really want to make sure that these programs serve those communities. So if you know of a promising person who you think would benefit from any of these, please let them get in contact with us so we can talk to them about it. Perks of being a member. So Shut Up and Write is a weekly event that's exclusive to QWF members. Here, the participants gather either virtually or in person and write together. It is a productivity technique using the Pomodoro method that helps one overcome procrastination and find the discipline needed to consistently dedicate time to the writing practice. So how it works is the participants write for 25 minutes, and then there is a dedicated 5-minute break for socializing and chatting, and then back to 25 minutes of writing. And it goes on for like 5 cycles. So it rotates. 1 week it's virtual and the other is in person. And the virtual ones is hosted by one of our regular volunteers, Jesse Gandel, and in-person ones, which we hold at our office every other Friday, is hosted by John. And again, it rotates in that pattern. So staying on exclusive perks of being a QWF member, QWF members get exclusive access to our monthly newsletter, which is prepared by my colleague John, who you'll meet a little bit later. Our newsletter is chock full of things that are of interest to writers or literary lovers in Quebec. So it's news, events, workshop announcements, contests, job opportunities, and the like. You know, sometimes I believe that it's the knowledge of an opportunity that could be your big break. You know, maybe a magazine is looking for exactly the type of poetry that you write, or QWF is offering exactly the type of workshop that you need. And don't forget that we advertise our workshops first to our members before the general public, and our members get a substantial discount when they register for our workshops. On the topic of discounts, QWF members also get discounts from various partners. This includes discounts on your book purchases from certain local independent bookstores, workshops, memberships, subscriptions, and ticket discounts from these presenters. As you can see, a lot of these were added just over the past few months. So we're always, looking for new partners. We always want to make sure our members can get good deals, when they interact with the larger community. Speaking of community, being a member of QWF is being part of the greater literary community of Quebec. We represent almost 1,000 members, and I like to say that the English writing and publishing scene in Quebec is rich and vibrant, especially considering the percentage of Anglophones in the province. Being part of this community means being invited to networking and schmoozers that we host. We try to do around 3 or 4 a year, including our annual picnic. And when we host membership events, we have a buddy system so that shy or introverted or newcomers who want to take part can be matched with someone who is already on our networks to introduce them around. We also have a safer spaces policy to make sure that everyone who attends our events feels safe and unharassed. So before I pass it on to Laurie, I again encourage those of you who are not yet members to join QWF. We have 3 categories: general, professional, and student. Membership is very affordable compared to writing organizations in other provinces at $60 for general and professional members and $25 for student members. We take registrations online, and payments can be done via credit card, Visa debit, PayPal, check, or cash. And the best thing is we offer a pay what you can model. So no one who wants to be a QWF member will be refused on the basis of ability to pay. With this model, you can decide how much you would like to pay for your membership, and you can sign up from $0 all the way to the full amount. And that's all I have for my part. So I am now going to pass it on to Lori.
Thank you, Riley. It actually occurs to me, and I don't mean to spring this on you, but it occurred to me while you were speaking that maybe we should have John go next. And that way, those who are not interested or don't need to hear the information about more advanced careers can leave a little bit earlier if they want to. Is that okay with you, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I can go next. So yeah, hi everybody. My name's John Wickham. I'm the communications officer of QWF. That means I manage our web content, our marketing, our various communications channels, email, social media, and whatnot. And in that capacity as well, I'm also here to support you as QWF members with your own publicity pursuits. And I'll touch on that in my talk in a bit. But first, I'm going to start with a tour of QWF's websites. And I say websites plural because while we have our main website, qwf.org, we do actually manage several other websites. So I'll show you some of those as well. Let me just share my screen here. Okay. So this is the qwf.org homepage. I think people can feel their way around this website fairly easily. You'll see at the top on our menu, under our activities, all of those programs that Riley mentioned that you can explore on your own time, whether it's the Shut Up and Write sessions that we hold, whether that's the mentorship program, Twist, or Carte Blanche. Feel free to poke around and look through that on your own time. You'll also see tile buttons to various kind of like hot points on our website, whether that's a latest featured interview with one of our members. In this case, we have a featured interview with Kate Levitt, who is a graphic memoirist and playwright, as well as the latest things going on, such as our Quebec Books Curated Contest. If you are a QWF member, you should have just gotten an email from me an hour ago reminding you about that, as the deadline is today. So keep an eye out for that if you haven't noticed it already. What I think a lot of people neglect when they go on this website is not so much this main menu here, but rather up above, you'll see this little sub menu here with news and calendar. And those are two sections of our website that are really useful and that I think members can really avail themselves of. I'll start with the news section. This is where all of our posts appear in reverse chronological order, so most recent to oldest. And this is where we post things like calls for submissions, job opportunities, featured interviews, anything that has kind of like a temporality to it. So just going through this here, you can see that interview with Kate. You can see that curator contest that I mentioned before. But we also have things like our call for submissions for the College Writers Award for college students at some of the English language CEGEPs in Quebec. You'll also see some past opportunities like our editorial mentorship at Carte Blanche, which Riley mentioned, and the Max Marley's writing residency in Ireland, which also just happened the deadline just happened to pass on that. You can also filter these news categories to drill down and see things that are pertinent to what you're looking for. So for example, if you are looking for calls for submissions, you can see the sidebar and select calls for submissions to see all of those that are going on. It's good in the sense that you can both look at what we have going on currently, but you can also see the patterns of when we're posting those submissions to identify, when the next application for our Max Marley's writing residency will take place. Likewise, whenever we have job postings, there is a section here for those which you can select. and you can go through those and find whenever we have current job postings going on. Okay, next I'd like to show you our calendar. So this is our community calendar, which means that we publish not only QWF's events, but anybody can also submit an event to get it posted here as a form of publicizing things like, let's say you have a book launch going on or some sort of event that you're participating in. You can publish that here as a place to put it on the internet and hopefully get some eyes on it. So by default, you'll see it appears in a list like this, but there are some ways that you can drill down and explore it or view these categories in different formats. So by default, it's on this list view, but you can also, if you want more of a bird's eye view, you can select that button and switch to a month view. And once this loads, you can see all the events that are going on in a month. Likewise, let's say you're looking for specific types of events. Let's say you want to look for book launches that are going on. You can do that by going to the category button and selecting book launches. And that way you'll be able to see all the book launches that are coming up in Montreal and around the province. You can also select the cost. You can use this cost slider scale to look for example, free events. So you can just slide that down to $0, and that'll show you all of the free events that are going on. To submit an event, you'll see this sidebar here with the button Submit Event. All you need to do is click that. That'll bring you to this page where you can enter the information for your event. So let's say you have a book that's coming out and you would like to publicize a book launch for it. So you need to just enter a title. We'll put book launch for John Wickham. I'm launching my book. You can select the date, and you can also select multiple days if, for example, it is a multi-day event like a festival or something along those lines. You can also select an image. So if you have a banner that you would like to publish, you can do that here too. And then under event categories, you can type in book launch, select that, and it'll populate whenever somebody is looking for book launches. Enter venue, any links. Let's say you have a ticketing page or something like that. You can enter the website there. And then all you need to do is submit your event. That will then go to my colleague Riley, who will then confirm the event, and then it will get published on the calendar. And I really do encourage you to use this function anytime that you have an event going on. You know, the more people who are using this, the more people who are looking at it and posting to it, the better the experience gets for everybody. So definitely use it. And if nothing else, it's a great spot for you to just plant your events so that they have a life on the internet. So that's one way that we can help you publicize things as a QWF member, but we're also happy to publicize them through social media, as well as through QWF's newsletter. I manage our social media accounts, and I'm always happy to share anything that our members have going on, whether it's a book publication, an event, some sort of news announcement. You're welcome to either tag QWF, direct message QWF, or email me. My email address is just john@qwf.org, and I'll be happy to direct any sort of news, any sort of announcements that you have through the appropriate channels. Likewise, as Riley mentioned, we do manage this monthly newsletter that we send out to QWF members, and in that is a section with member news where we publicize short bulletin points about what our members have going on. You can send me that news again by email at john@qwf.org, and I'll funnel it appropriately, or you can send it to our email address specifically designed for those sorts of announcements. That one is enews@qwf.org. I'll just include that in the chat real quick. or john@qwf.org. I manage both of those email addresses, so you're welcome to use either of them, and I'll be able to get in contact and funnel the news in the appropriate way. Okay. Now I'd like to show you all a new section of our website. This is the Writers Resource Hub, and we just finished revamping this. It used to be called the External Resources page, but we've done a big job of overhauling it and expanding the resources on this page. You can see that it's broken down into 3 umbrella categories. So we have resources for writing and publishing, and those are all broken down into various aspects of that, such as getting published and writing advice. You can open those accordion buttons to see details. Below writing and publishing, we have business of writing resources. Well, you'll find resources on grants and finding funding opportunities, freelance writing, what that encompasses in all its dimensions, legal advice, contracts, income taxes. And then lastly, we have a section on community resources. So in here, you'll see things like other arts organizations that you can be a part of or participate in, national literary organizations, as well as our provincial counterparts across Canada. You'll also find lists of bookstores, both in and outside of Montreal, book clubs, festivals around Quebec, as well as Salon Genève. So it's a really great resource for pretty much anything. It's kind of your one-stop shop for finding other organizations or other opportunities as a writer. Riley also mentioned that you, as a QWF member, receive exclusive discounts and benefits through a whole bunch of various partner organizations. I'll show you where you can find that. If you select membership here, go to membership overview. You'll see some text about joining and who should join. And then below that, you'll see the member benefits and discounts. So you can poke around here. You'll see that there are a whole bunch of bookstores that will give you a 10% discount. There's magazines that you can subscribe to at discounted rates. There's even a residency here, Rosemary's House, that will give you a discount on their residency in Greece. So you can poke around here and see if you can take advantage of any of those discounts. To use those discounts, in most cases, you'll need to show your QWF membership card to prove your current status as a QWF member. You'll see some instructions on how to retrieve that if you don't know where to locate it, but I'll show you how to do that right now. So when you register as a QWF member, you will receive an electronic version of your membership card in your email. And to find that, what I find is the easiest way is to search in your inbox your Quebec Writers Federation order, or your Quebec Writers Federation order has been received, and you should see a receipt for your membership. And in that receipt, you'll find your membership card here. You can then print out that page and cut it out, screenshot it, save it on your phone, whatever works best for you. If you're in Montreal, you can also come down to the QWF office and we'll be happy to give you a physical membership card. We'll fill it out for you on the spot, and you can use that instead. Okay, and lastly, I'd just like to show you 2 of our other websites that you can check out. I'm going to go quickly through these. We have 2 other major websites, the QWF Literary Database of Quebec English Language Authors, it's a real mouthful, and our Hire Writer Directory. Start with the Literary Database. So to get there, you can go to Resources and then select that option in the menu. Go to the database, and this is a repository of all the books that have been submitted to the QWF Awards and its predecessor over the course of our history. It's a great resource for finding new reading material or just exploring, award-winning and finalist books. You can search by book categories, fiction, nonfiction, children's YA, et cetera, et cetera. You can search by publication years. So if you're looking for books from a particular year, you can do it that way. You can also search by award categories to find finalists and winners from our various prizes in those categories. Next, I'll show you quickly the Hire a Writer directory, and this is an especially useful resource both for if you're a professional writer, as well as if you're an aspiring writer who, say, is working on a manuscript. So this is our directory of professional writers and editors who are QWF members who have been vetted by a selection committee to ensure that all of the people in this directory meet a certain caliber of quality and professionalism. From the homepage, you can go to the directory, and what's nice about this is that you can filter and search the members by genre, by services they provide, by specialties, like types of content that they specialize in. You'll see over here, there are several search functions that you can use. You can search specific keywords, but you can also select a specific genre. So let's say you're a fiction writer who's working on your first novel. You can look for people who specialize in fiction, and those will populate on the screen. But you can also drill down a little further by filtering by services. So if you're looking specifically for somebody who is going to provide a manuscript evaluation, for example, you could select that service and see all the people who are not only fiction writers, but also who provide manuscript evaluation services. And you can go through those profiles, see who is a good fit for you, contact them. I'll pull up one of these profiles just to give you a quick example. You can contact the person by using the form at the bottom of their page, fill out your name, your email address, and then they'll get the message and they can get the ball rolling with you after that. We don't publish pay amounts because all of these people maintain their own get their own pay structures and whatnot. But you can speak to those people individually to discuss payment. If you are a professional member and are interested in joining Hire a Writer to publicize your services, you can go to the Apply page to learn more about that application process. Okay, and I think that is the end of my tour. So I am going to stop sharing here.
Thanks,
and I will pass it on to Lori.
Yeah, I just want to mention a couple of things before I plunge into the established and mid-career writers resources and services. One is, first of all, if you already have heard what you need to hear, we won't be offended if you leave. I won't be offended if you leave. Secondly, we are almost all of our activities intended for our members are given in Montreal. We're in the Montreal area, but we are working on that, and we're working with a partner in Quebec City. We're hoping to do more there, do more in the Eastern Townships. If you are a member from outside of Montreal and would like to get in touch with us about potentially helping us to find groups of people who might be interested in activities in your area or venues where we could hold such activities, please don't hesitate to get in touch with either me, and you can reach me at lori@qwf.org, Lori, or with Riley@qwf.org, because we're very interested in doing more in that way. And again, Riley mentioned that the workshops that we have and many of our activities are available live streamed, so you can attend a workshop even if you aren't in Montreal. All right, the other thing I wanted to say is that this new resource hub, which especially credit for that goes to John. John said we did this, but John really did most of the work on that. If you have ideas, if you go through it and you're in a category and you know of something that we haven't caught, please write to John@qwf.org, and let him know, because we're always looking for support from our members in doing a better job of delivering information. So the section, let's just see how much time I have left. We want to leave time. I'll take probably about 10 minutes. The section that I'm going to talk about is what we do for established writers and mid-career writers. And we have Obviously, we also have professional development if you're in even a very established place in your career, because our workshops are so varied that there are many people who have careers as writers, perhaps a poet who wants to dabble in or try their hand at science fiction writing or something like that. So please don't assume that all of the workshops are just for beginners. We do sometimes mention that they're master classes. Those are obviously intended for people who have had at least some workshop experience and some writing experience. And sometimes we have a workshop leader who will lead a workshop from 6 to 8 in the evening and stay and take a workshop from 8 to 10. So that's a nice thing that we do. And then also the lunch and learns that Riley was talking about. I think maybe you mentioned this already, but I will, that they're all in a library on YouTube. So if there was a topic there, like say writing for the games industry, that looked interesting to you, then you can get access to that by going to our YouTube channel, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you just have to go to YouTube and type in Quebec Writers Federation.
Yep, that should be fine. I'll post the playlist of our lunch and learns in the chat.
Great. Thank you, John. Okay, so the main other thing that we do for our established writers is recognition and visibility, and we do that in a number of ways. So I'm going to just tailor them a little more to the established writers in the room than Riley did, but the QWF Awards, that's a great opportunity to gain visibility, and also if you are lucky enough to win, those are $3,000 prizes. We have 6 book genres, plus the biannual prize in playwriting and the Ian Ferrier Spoken Word Prize. For the first time this year, our Community Award, which is open to people by nomination who have served the English language literary community of the province for at least 10 years, is going to be carrying a prize, also a financial prize. It was always just honorary, but I'm very happy to say that there will be a $1,000 prize for the winner of that prize starting this year. Our Writers Out Loud series, we have a selection committee. They feature mostly writers with new books, but sometimes they'll do an event on a theme, in which case they might see that your book, which was published 4 years ago, makes you a perfect candidate for that panel. It's not something that you can apply for specifically, but if you're interested, I would say just talk to me, talk to Riley, and let us know what it is that you've done in recent years, preferably. And when we have that groups meeting, we'll be more able to represent you to the committee that chooses. Similarly, the Words and Music series, that's about 4 events a year. These, by the way, everything that we do with writers, we pay for. And that includes I don't know if you mentioned it, Riley, but the Fresh Pages Diversity Initiative, all of the mentees, as well as the mentors, get an honorarium for working in that program. Words and Music, sorry, excuse me for 1 second. Have you got that, Rose? Okay.
This gives me a second to catch up on the chat messages, so this is convenient for me.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. It was the doorbell, and I wanted to make sure that it was handled. Okay, so Words and Music, about 4 events a year, mostly mixing, guess what, words and music. But occasionally we do something that's only words, like storytelling. We also do spoken word, hip hop. We have 1 event each year that features the winners of the finalists from the Spoken Word Prize that I mentioned before. And one of the events is also curated externally by the winner of the Fresh Pages guest curatorship mentorship. The online database that John just showed you must be about 2,500 books or more in it right now, by over 1,300 authors and translators. Those books, I just want to let you know, so you don't start sending us information and asking us to put your old books on. Those books are all books that have been submitted for the awards over the years. So we do that automatically. If you've got a book that will be submitted for the QWF Awards for 2025, we're collecting that information, and once we have it all, probably over the summer, those books will automatically be entered into the literary database. The Max Margley's Writing Residence, which was mentioned, is 3 weeks in Ireland. Last year it was Amy Wall was the winner of that. The year before that it was Heather O'Neill. And unfortunately, as pointed out, the deadline, all of our deadlines pretty much have just passed because we're heading into the summer now. But these things open up on a schedule year round, and things start getting lively again in the early fall. There's also the Hire a Writer directory that John showed you. That is really a good opportunity if you're doing any freelance work at all. The idea for that directory was twofold. One was to help our emerging writers and aspiring writers to go to a place to find good writers to help them, to coach them, to edit them, to ghostwrite for them if need be. But the other really, and the real motivation was to have a place for our writing members to supplement their income and to get more visibility. And we do get more and more inquiries about that site, and people do get work through it. So I recommend that strongly. It only costs $25 to join the directory, and then there's a $25 annual fee to stay on it. And other than that, it's free, and it's something you can update if you want to, if you have new things. But it is competitive to get on. Not competitive, but you do have to meet the eligibility criteria, which you can see on the website. Okay, another thing for established writers is the Writers in CEGEPS program, and that there will be a call for sometime in the late spring or early summer, I hope. We have to wait to hear about the funding from the province before we announce it, but that's an opportunity if you're qualified to get onto a directory on our website and also within the CEGEP system for CEGEP professors to bring you into their classes to offer workshops or be on panels, roundtables, to give talks, not just for English classes, but potentially for any subject matter, but to do it in English. And that will, as I say, open up, watch for a notice of that. If you're a member, we would send out a separate notice, not just something in our e-news about that, so you don't miss it. There's also a Writers in Schools directory, same sort of thing. It's run by the province, but the call for that is kind of comes when it comes. There's not one open right now, but there probably will be another one, I hope, before the end of the year. We also have a program for visibility called Literary Dinners and Teas. It's something we recently relaunched. It's not been terribly active, to tell the truth, because we just don't have all the time we need to publicize everything we do. But it does occasionally occur that somebody will want to bring a writer into their home for dinner, or for a book club meeting, or for tea in the afternoon to talk about their book. And it's a good place for you to, if you have a new book or even a not so new book, to meet with the public. Usually the people who are attending will buy the book and read it, or at least take it out of the library and read it, depending on the group. If you're interested in participating in that, if you've got a publication, look at the website for under Literary Dinners and Teas and read about it, and then get in touch with me directly, and I will let you know if we can add you to that list. Another thing I wanted to tell you, those of you who have publications, book publications, we participate every year in the Read Quebec Book Fair, which is something that is put on by our sibling organization with whom we share our office, the Association of English Language Publishers of Quebec. And we do not choose the books that are featured in that book fair. It's really the association's members' books that are primarily featured, although we do they do reserve some space for us for the finalists each year of the QWF Awards. So it's not something that you can ask to be part of. If your book is a shortlisted book for our prizes, it will be included in the book fair. Otherwise, if you have a Quebec publisher, you can speak to them about putting your book forward for that book fair. And then I did want to mention again the contest that's open until the end of the day today to put together a collection. John, while I'm talking about this, could you share your screen and show the collection section and Dan Leviton's collection that he submitted? So
Yes.
this is a contest. We have within that database that John's going to go back to in a moment. We have collections, and here they are. They can be on any theme at all. But what we're doing right now is asking our members to propose collections. And this is a nice opportunity for visibility for you, whether you have a book published or not, to propose something. All you have to do is go through the directory, choose 6 to 10 books, send us, there's a form to give us the titles or authors' names for the books, and to write a blurb, as you can see here, Dan Levitin has done, to tell us to tell the public what is it about these books that brought them together in your mind. And we hope to be featuring one new collection each month. So for a month, your book and your your selection of books and your blurb and bio would be up on that website, and we will be drawing people's attention to that. So it's not too complicated, but it does entail finding about 10 books, 6 to 10 books that go together on a theme. And I would say, and John, forgive me if I'm jumping the gun here, but if you want to do this and you want to do it after today, just let John know, john@qwf.org, and we will accommodate you in that, because we are looking for more proposals to be, so that we have one for each month for the rest of the year.
I think, we can be a little flexible if need be, for sure.
Yeah. And then the last category, and I'll rip through this because I want to leave some time for questions, is employment opportunities. So we pay out money to over 200 writers every year. Some of them are being published in Carte Blanche and now Quist. This year, probably the number will go up because we have another journal. But we pay for juries, and we have a lot of juries. We have separate juries for each of the book prizes in the QWF Awards. So it alternates depending on whether we have the playwriting prize going in a given year. We would have either 18 or 21 jurors that we hire for the QWF Awards each year. There's also a College Writers Award where we try to hire younger writers to be jurors for that one, since the writers themselves are younger. We hire jurors for the Margulies residency in Ireland, for the Fresh Pages program. And then there are numerous other opportunities that pop up during the year. Obviously, we also hire writers to lead workshops, and that's where we are really hoping that some of you who are established writers or even mid-career writers, even if you've only published your first book, will propose something to us, because we are going to be having a call for workshop proposals in May, and those would be to be offered in 2026. We pretty much work a year in advance. So watch for that if you're interested, or write to me if you want more information about it. There is a form on our website year-round to propose a workshop. There's no need to wait for the call. If you send something in sooner, we'll just put it into the pile. And then when the committee meets in the summer to decide on the 2026 workshops, your proposal will be in there. John, maybe while I'm talking, you can also show where that form is. Mentorships. The call for mentors goes out in September every year, and we look for mentors in all different categories, genres, and there are some criteria. Again, it's for our more advanced members, but that's a program that pays $2,000 to work for 35 to 40 hours with a mentee that you will have selected yourself from a short list given to you by the jury. So that's another really good opportunity to earn some money through QWF. There's the Fresh Pages Diversity Initiative, which offers 3 positions a year. There's the Writers in the Community program. That's for people who are willing to make pretty serious commitments. We look for people who have already worked with youth, and ideally with youth in marginalized situations. Some of the kids that we work with are seriously in difficult situations. We work through Batshaw Social Services, so we work with kids who are in the legal system or are in group homes for various reasons, as well as kids who are in schools that are perhaps a little bit special, a little bit non-mainstream. Vanguard, for example, many of those kids have learning disabilities. So we do look for people with experience working with kids like that. We have a team of 21 facilitators right now, and that's because the workshops are 10 weeks long. You go once a week for 10 weeks, plus a planning meeting. And so obviously the timing is determined by the partner, the school or the group home, or the prison that we're working in. And it's not always easy to find people who are available for the 10-week session. So we have a pretty big team for that. And every once in a while, we put out a call for new members to apply. There's also a program called Storyscaping. That one you just missed the deadline on recently too. We just repopulated our workshops for that. But that's a program whereby we send writers either physically or digitally to work with groups mostly around the regions of the province, but also in underserved groups in Montreal, community groups, to do workshops that are less intended as professional development for writers and more intended as fun, creative activities for people, for English language members of the community around Quebec. We do have editorial positions in both Carte Blanche and Quist that open up from time to time, so you should watch for announcements of that. And then there are numerous special projects, well, some special projects pretty much every year that we would advertise for. I've overgone my time here, so I'm going to stop. I think that gives you at least an idea of the breadth of possibilities for established and mid-career writers. And I will turn it back over to Riley.
Thank you very much. So, does anyone have any questions today? Oh, Russell, go ahead.
Hi, so maybe not a question, but a comment. Thanks very much. As a sophomore writer, sort of stuck trying all these different things, and I've got one book and a couple of short stories, but sort of stuck. This. Thanks very much for all these new activities. I hadn't seen them before. I'm glad I signed up for this talk. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Riley, and thanks, John.
Thank you, Russell.
It's our pleasure, Russell. Thanks so much for joining us.
Catherine.
Hi, everybody. I'm Catherine. Thank you so much for that session. I just signed up as a new member, I think last week or the week before. So I'm really excited to be on board. I would definitely be interested in the Fresh Pages initiative for myself. So that would be something I would like to learn more about. And I would like to have a physical membership card. So I'd love to come by the office sometime, maybe next week, to pick it up if that's possible. And I'm also doing, because we were talking about CEGEP, I'm doing the creative writing course at Dawson College, yeah. And which is super interesting. So I'm working on a manuscript, but I've never published anything, just some stuff on Medium. So I'm really looking forward to grabbing any piece of advice that I can get, and also maybe get involved with the Federation at some point, because it looks really great what you're doing. So
Great.
thank you.
Well, first of all, to answer you about coming into the office, yes, you can come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we suggest that you make an appointment. Because sometimes, even though one of us is in the office each of those days, sometimes we have meetings. So in order for us to be able to really say, okay, we've got 15 minutes or 20 minutes to spend with you, it's best to email us in advance. So our email addresses now. It's either Lori, Riley, or John at QWF.org. For the Fresh Pages initiative, we announce various segments of that at different times of the year. The next ones will be in the fall, I believe.
For the workshops, yeah.
For the workshops, and the scholarships are also available. And by the way, our scholarships are no questions asked in terms of need for the need-based scholarships. And for Fresh Pages, you do have to just assert that you are qualified as a BIPOC individual. That's for everyone. Did I leave something out of your questions, Catherine?
I think she talked about how she was you're a student at the CEGEP right now, Catherine.
No. I'm actually a translator, so it's interesting that you're doing stuff for translators as well. But I'm doing a creative writing course at Dawson with Jim Burke. It's at night. It's continuing education.
Jim has led a workshop for us in the past.
He's a great teacher. I'm really impressed. He really encourages me to keep going, because it's my first time writing anything.
Great. I would just suggest also that you consider submitting something to Carte Blanche next time they have a call open. It's just another opportunity to try to get something published. And if you are working on a longer manuscript, eventually when you start to send that out to publishers, it would be good to have a little bit of a track record of publication.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that.
As far as learning more about the Fresh Pages initiative goes, I think you're safe to stop by and ask any of us questions about that. So Riley is in on Tuesdays 11 to 4. I'm in on Wednesdays since I'm in the office today. And Lori's in on Thursdays 11 to 4. So feel free to stop by. But as Lori mentioned, sometimes we're in meetings or what have you. So just drop us an email for when you expect to come in, and we can accommodate you then.
Sure, I'll look at my calendar and I'll send an email tonight to ask when I can come next
Okay,
week.
great.
Thank you.
And
My pleasure.
any more questions for Anu? And if you do think of more questions, it doesn't have to be now. You can always email it to us, and we're always happy to answer questions via email.
But we're not going to tell you our email addresses again. We've done that so many times. You can also find there is a contact form on the website, and there's also a phone number, and but email is easiest. Great. Well, I always assume that if there aren't too many questions, it means we did a pretty good job of explaining things. I hope so. And if not, as Riley said, you should feel free to ask us to clarify by email and set up meetings if you'd like to meet with us.
And we're ending right on time, 1 o'clock. So I guess we can call it there. Thank you all so much for taking time to learn about QWF today. It was a pleasure talking about it, and I hope to hear more from all of you soon.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.